Hello, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am really glad you're here. Today's date is Monday, June 26, 2023. Let's talk current events. So we found out last week that the submersible had actually imploded days before we were informed on mainstream news. During that time, 46's son got a slap on the wrist on 3 small counts. Will have no prison time, but we were all distracted by the submersible. That goes away. The Durham testimony was ongoing and kind of overlooked by the mainstream media, and I don't plan to touch on that too heavily, and not at all in this video. So Saturday, something else was needed. What would it be? There's a civil war in Russia. Oh my. This is the end of Mr. P, the end of his reign. This civil war is, the talking points were out. The mainstream media had no lag in the story. They were sitting on it and waiting to come forth with it. It was the shortest civil war and coup that I've ever heard of. It's already over and it's Monday. What this really was a 3-letter agency coordinated attempt to try to delay the inevitable of what's happening with our fiat dollar and the hegemony of the West, or the preeminence of the West. And by West, they do mean the G7 countries, not the BRICS. Okay. Let's look at a little of this history of this short coup, and then I want to ask a question about some of the participants. All right, hang on. I'm going to a compilation that I put on Facebook. It's by no means everything that's out there. I just want you to know the things I looked at as I got curious and started chuckling and laughing and thinking, like Ronald Reagan used to go, there you go again. Okay. So here is Prigozhin, the supposed coup leader, mastermind. He was going to topple Mr. P and, take a place in politics that he's never had before. He has had a place, though, in a cell. He is apparently a former convict. So I found an excellent video on YouTube. 13 minutes of your time. Actually, you only need 8 because then they go to sponsors. And they kind of talk about what was happening with this coup attempt. So just wanted to put that out there for you on that one. Okay. Then here is a somewhat alt news group talking about how this actually is going to end up, this coup attempt. I'd like you to see the headline for it at least. It was a failed USA operation that only made Mr. P stronger. I have found nothing in what I read to argue about that. Now, when Prigozhin decided to not follow through with the coup attempt, with the civil war, and they had some fabulous footage. One of the things I liked about the redacted item was they had a reporter that was actually on site reporting back, showing the Wagner troops hugging and laughing and happy that they weren't involved in a civil war. And, troops, the ground troops don't have a lot to say about where they go, who they fight, but they had to have some feelings in it because this meant they were going to be training their weapons even more on people that might be friends, family, relatives. So I can imagine their relief when they found out they weren't going to have to. Now, despite all the saber rattling that happened with both parties, Prigozhin was allowed to go to Belarus. Let me show you where that is. Okay, he and any of his still, interested in being with the Wagner Group people have been given safe harbor by Mr. P in Belarus, so he can live there in safety. I think his only worry is going to be 3-letter agency agents trying to silence him before he can give details that would be embarrassing or compromising to them. And Mr. P has put out a welcome that any of the troops that were involved with that, remember, ground troops you get assigned to battalions, you get assigned based on your training to places. And he's put out a welcome if they'd like to join the more major Russian military. So I thought that was pretty kind of cool. So here you can see the geography of it. Here's Russia, okay? And here's Belarus, here's Ukraine. Then I found some talking points that talks about who knew about it. And one of those people that knew about this upcoming attempt was Mr. P. And it goes on to talk about it. This was actually written right before we've gotten to the point where he was, the coup is over and Mr. Prigozhin is going to be welcomed and safe in Belarus. So if you want to go to that compilation and look at those things, you can. Like I said, it's by no means comprehensive. It's just the items I looked for that kind of gave me some curiosity about the situation. And like I said, some chuckles because it was like 3-letter agencies, there they go again, and the timing's perfect. There's no overlap. Okay, it's submersible. Submersible ends on Thursday. We're getting outraged that they knew about it. And we're getting kind of mad that there was only a slap on the wrist for somebody's son. And oh, let's have a civil war. Now it's Monday and it's over. Talk about fast. Okay, so what I want to ask the cards. I think it's, first of all, I think white hats were in control. I think this was a deep state attempt. You know how we had that read last week, and I said the white hats are saying, go for it, pack a lunch. So I think the white hats had the intel and the readiness to let this unfold. Again, the people that were really all in on this attempt are now outed. So it's a draining of the swamp for Mr. P's team. So let's just ask the cards for insights and information, especially about the relationship of Mr. Prigozhin with Mr. VP in Russia. Okay, insights and information. Chatter had it that Mr. Prigozhin was actually a triple agent. And I think the fact that he's been given sanctuary, safety, and stand down order for any actions against him for this kind of speaks of some sort of a relationship there, kind of similar to what we see in the United States when we've been told that to hold off on final judgments because not everybody good is good, not everybody bad is bad, and just also while we're at it, not everybody dead is dead. So let's see if some of that's what's happening over in Europe. Okay, I'll switch the camera, let you see me do some shuffling, and then we'll deal and find out together what the cards want to tell us. Again, we're looking for insights and information about the short-lived Russian coup and civil war that started and ended over the weekend, apparently. Just insights and information, especially with an eye towards any possible connection between Mr. Prigozhin and Mr. VP. Hey, our first card is the 8 of Wands. I'm laughing because that always talks about swiftly moving events, and coup started on Saturday and ended on Sunday. Page of Swords. Then we have a victory card with the 6 of Wands. King of Wands, lots of wands showing up. High Priestess. 10 of Swords. Ooh, this is getting so interesting. And then we have the Sun showing up. So 1 major arcana. All right, let's take a look at those cards and see what they're telling us. First of all, situation was a fast-moving one. Absolutely. Page of Swords is often a card that talks about some truth and diplomacy. So the truth was known by, yes, the reporting that Mr. P in Russia knew about this coup was absolutely correct. Okay. That it was being fomented or created that it was coming down the pike. He was aware of it. In fact, he was able to put players in key positions to keep the plans rolling. And like I said, now there's a lot of swamp creatures from Europe that have now been outed for where their allegiances and alliances truly are. And this whole weekend served to make the White Hats much stronger. I say that because the recent past card is the Six of Wands, and that is a card that talks about just a victory again, and it's one of my White Hat cards. So a victory, is to the alliance and the people of we real humans who are being emancipated, whether we realize we were slaves or not. Now, the King of Wands is showing up for the present. That's a very calming, comforting card to have show up in the present. The King of Wands card always talks about there's wisdom here and honor and leadership. And like it or not, Mr. VP in Russia has displayed a lot of leadership, and he has a lot of people loyal to him, despite the fact that they were trying to do that media spin on him that has been way too effective in the West. It wasn't as successful in the East. Those people are a little more logical, grounded, and not quite so flighty in changing their allegiances and alliances. The West can be. Okay, now in the near future, we've got the High Priestess showing up. This means there's still some secrets involved with this whole situation. There's information the universe isn't ready to share with us, but it's close to the surface, okay? Now, the High Priestess is going to show up when there is information, again, that's close to the surface. Okay, some is readily available to us, but some is not. And we just have to be looking in the right places and asking the right questions to have more disclosures and information at our fingertips about this situation. Our strongest insight card here is the 10 of Swords. So this was the one and only civil war and coup attempt that Mr. VP is going to have to deal with. They were digging the bottom of the barrel for plans, and the coups that have worked so well when they're toppling, they being three-letter agencies, when they're toppling small countries, and it didn't work quite so well here with Mr. VP. Love to see that. Now, our next insight card here is the Sun, a major arcana. Now, the Sun is a beautiful card talking about success, and I love that there's all of these sunflowers in the back, and that happens to be the official state flower, as far as I know, for Ukraine. So isn't that fabulous showing up here? So I'm getting a sense that there's not animosity between the two men. I believe it was more this art of war type of thing. And that we're going to find out down the road that Mr. Prigozhin is actually quite the patriot who took on a difficult assignment and kind of redeemed himself, because apparently there was some redemption that was needed, whether it's karmic or, for actions in his present life or not. But he served a purpose, did it well, and he's going to be, that's why there's the hands-off, stand-down order for him. But like I said, he needs to watch out, because the three-letter agencies will not want him tattling about where he got some information. Funding, $6.2 billion, ring a bell with anybody? Let's get a couple more cards and see if there's more information about, again, this very short coup and civil war that the mainstream media told us this is it. It's a mortal blow for Mr. P. The Fool. Queen of Swords. Okay, beautiful cards to end with for this reading. The Fool, again, is a major arcana, just saying, that is an ending. We're stepping out into a new era. I believe the conflict with Ukraine is going to be resolved, I would say, in the very near future. And this is just me. The cards aren't giving me a date or anything like that, but this, where there's the sunflowers and new starts and ending of something, I think we're going to see that magically and wonderfully, the conflict between Ukraine and Russia is going to resolve in the near future. The Queen of Swords, beautiful card to end on, because she is clear thinking, she's very patient, and she's about justice. Okay. And so there's going to be a lot of again, we've got a diplomacy card showing up here with the Page of Swords and standing close by the Queen. So again, we've got that diplomacy, truth, patience, and yeah, they're going to be stepping out in some new territory. So let's recap. We were asking for insights and information about this very short coup and civil war that was supposedly occurring in Russia. And it's already over and done with. And the insights we got from that, first of all, the situation was indicated with the 8 of Wands, that it was a fast-moving event. Yeah, one weekend, boom, done. And that there was some truth involved with this and diplomacy. Mr. P was aware. The reporting we're hearing that he knew this was coming, that he was prepared for it, is absolutely true. It was a good swamp draining activity for his side of the pond. The victory card showed up for the recent past. So this was very much a victory of not allowing 3-letter agencies to return to their heyday of toppling duly elected governments and putting in their puppets. Okay, King of Wands showed up for the present. Leadership, strong leadership is something they can look for. And Mr. P still has that place in his home country. The High Priestess in the near future told us there's still some information, first of all, that the universe is not quite ready to share with us. And the more accepting we are of that, the less we get muddy things. There's a few cards that kind of indicate there's more to the story, but you don't need to know it now, or it would impact operations if you did. So there's more to this story. There is, but we have enough that we were given insights and information on that we can see this truly was. It's going to end up making Mr. P's situation much, much stronger. The 10 of Swords indicates that there was an ending of something. I don't think Mr. P, VP, is ever going to have to worry about a civil war or coup attempt again, especially one that 3-letter agencies were pushing and prodding to have happen. The Sun card showed up also as an insight and information card. And this is one that's joyous. It's a victory card and it's new life. And there's also, with the presence of the sunflowers in the background of that, I kind of got a nudge that I think that even the appearance of ongoing and continuing conflict between those two countries, the one with Mr. Z and the one with Mr. P, is probably coming to an end. And I said that because we also got the Fool card, which talks about starting out on a whole new path and doing so with some faith that I got what it takes to get where I need to go. We should all have that. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for your time and attention. And I'm kind of glad that I wasn't, on top of this any faster than I was, because it's nice to come in at this point, just 2 days in, and say, hey, it's already over. Let's look for some insights. Let's have some giggles. If you're not smart enough to see that this was a 3-letter agency construct type of thing, then I don't know what to think about you. I really don't. So the powers that were are still trying the playbook things that used to work for them. And the powers that will be, and that means the power of humanity to have freedom and a chance to reach their full and best potential, is absolutely unstoppable. There's things that can bruise and batter on the way, these final steps, but nothing can stop what is coming. I love to say that because it's situation after situation, you can just see it is so, so true. Okay, until next time, that's it for me at Laura's View and Tarot 2. And I thank you so much for watching, and I wish you the best of everything. And in my usual way, I will say until next time, love and light and everything bright. Bye.